Thank you for joining us today for Table Talk. We're here today after a brief hiatus. We're going to have a great show, we hope. We're going to have 3 city council candidates, and they're going to tell the electorate, you, the self-governed, exactly how they feel and how they feel that they can govern you best. And would you like to add anything to that? I'm Stan Deatherage, by the way. This is my co-host, Down East Dave Hudson. You have some things you'd like to say as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so with the local elections coming up here shortly, we thought it would be beneficial to give the public an opportunity to meet some of the non-incumbent candidates who are running for the different positions. To that end, we did reach out to all of the candidates that are running this year, invited them to join us today. We were fortunate to have 3 of them who are willing to come and are able to make it. So look forward to hearing what they have to say about some of the issues.
Great. Well, let's get started. Today we have City Council candidate Nick Fritz, candidate Sheri Clark, candidate Andrew TEX Melton. Understanding that the City of Washington has a spending problem, what would you do as a council member to alleviate the issue this causes for the tax-paying citizens?
That's a pretty straightforward and easy question. If there's too much spending, you just have to cut it. There's 2 basic ways I'd go about that. One, we don't necessarily have to stop the things that we want to do. We just can't do them all at the same time. So if we have 10 projects we'd like to accomplish, we don't need to accomplish 10 projects in a year. Maybe we can only accomplish 5 or 6 of them, and we push a few of them off into the future. By doing that, we save a little bit of money. The other side of that is efficiency. Anybody who's had any experience running large organizations knows that there is lots of areas of inefficiency when there are lots of folks pushing towards the same goals. You just go into each organization, you focus on the main task of that organization, and you work backwards. What's necessary and what's unnecessary. As you go down that list, the things that are unnecessary, you just peel off and you just don't do. So I would say saving money in 2 ways. One, by operating the government a little slower than maybe they're currently operating, and 2, by actually peeling out and trimming some of the fat.
It has everything to do with where the money is going. It has everything to do with what is going to happen when we have 300 pages for our city budget and we don't know how it's connected to the incoming monies. We need to have a clear path, knowing exactly what those things are. And the people that are operating with our city budget need us to be aware of what their needs are, and what they need to have additional funds for, but also what we can do to make what each department in the city government can do to be more efficient. It's very difficult when you are working outside of a system to know what that is. Once you are elected and you're in the system, this is the time to delve into each department, hopefully one at a time, so that we can truly know what is happening there and what needs to be changed. We have an awful lot to track with 300 pages, but I think with the right people who are used to working all of the budgets the way they need to be operating for large and small business, myself and other candidates who are running, we want to see the truth of the matter and get to the truth of the matter so that what is happening in our city for its budget would be proper.
We need to decide where we're spending this money at and overspending this money at. There's some overpayment of employees that is not really right. We could look into that, research it, and determine if the services we're getting for that amount of money are fair to the citizens of Washington. It's questionable, possibly on the verge of corrupt for some of the stuff that's being done, salaries that are being paid for what we're getting in return. We need to research, cut corners where we can find it, and bring Beaufort County online with the surrounding counties, and keep a level playing field so the citizens of Washington aren't overtaxed or overburdened with property increases and elevated taxes.
There has been much concern about the abuse and misapplication of power by the city government, which is supposed to represent the people. How would you help restore the people's confidence in their elected officials?
The short answer to that is I intend to announce everything that I would like to do, and I intend to do everything that I announce. Say what I'm going to do and do what I'm going to say. And beyond that, have a level of transparency with all the actions that are going on in the government, with the budget and the many things that we have planned, that we have done, and that we intend to do. I think the way you restore confidence in the government is by being open to the public about everything that's going on, good, bad, and ugly. So that's the fast and easy answer.
Confidence in elected officials occurs when the things that the city is supposed to accomplish are being accomplished. And also when taxes are kept at a reasonable place for most of our citizens. What has happened recently is we've had a very large uptick in property tax. That's a problem for most people who live here. And it's certainly going to be a suppression for businesses and for anyone who would consider moving to Washington. I've had those conversations with people on the boardwalk who are from other towns considering Washington as a new location, and they are nervous about it because of what has just happened. I think we have a tremendous amount of need for our council members to have a level of morality. And that morality has to not just be, say, on Sunday morning, but also Monday through Saturday. We have to have some kind of a litmus test. The litmus test that I like to work with is that we would be looking at whether something is helpful, whether it is healthy, and whether it is wholesome. If it can pass all those tests, then let's go with it. But if it does not pass, it has to be looked at and either altered or eliminated. We need to clean up our city council's actions toward the public and the job that they're supposed to be doing to manage the city itself.
Restoring confidence in elected officials is very tough, the way we've run politics for the last few years, but truth and integrity, telling the citizens of Washington what you're going to do and doing exactly what you're going to do, with being open and answering questions when they come to the city council meeting, and not blowing smoke and mirrors around. To be honest, corruption-wise, there's some questionable things that's happened. I'm sure most of the city knows about it. I'm not really here to throw rocks on that, but it needs to be taken care of. It needs to stop. You got different people doing different things, favors for people. That doesn't need to happen. We need to be honest with the people, the citizens of Washington, and do exactly what we tell them to do, and be held accountable when we don't do what we promised them we'd do, or give them a reason that's understandable as to why our promises didn't transpire.
We are a self-governed people with varying levels of government, with this city council race existing as one that is closest to the people, where you will be expected to govern best. Understanding your prospective purpose of this seat of power, what is your initial plan to best use proper revenues to properly fix the real problem issues that do exist?
So the citizens of Washington elect a city council. That's very foundational to democracy, right? It's almost like there's only 10,000 people, there's 5 seats. So we have a lot of opportunity to have changes on that city council, which is good because the more perspective we get to the city council, the more we can address what the citizens are concerned with. The fundamental reason that local government exists is to handle very specific, narrow sets of issues: roads, crime, things like that. I would say going through each of the various departments that the city council is currently looking at and finding which of those we can actually peel out and get rid of or merge into some of the other areas. I think the local government has taken on more than its initial purpose. And by doing so, they're neglecting a lot of the things that they probably should be focusing on while they're getting into stuff that they shouldn't. So that's probably the best way to do it, is to have a narrower focus. Thomas Jefferson said, governments govern best that which they govern least. So I would begin by saying, let's get back to the basics and govern a little bit less, but perhaps a little bit better.
Problem issues should come from the public. Some of it is quite obvious. We're all having problems with potholes, tearing up our tires, causing our cars to need new alignments, and causing traffic accidents, actually, because people are trying to avoid potholes. If a city cannot handle the things that it should be doing, there's a problem here. Because there certainly has been a raising of taxes, there has been an overspending. So where is all this money going? That's the big question. We need an answer for that. And the only way that that's going to occur is to be on the inside and work the proper channels so that we will know what is happening, so that the corrections can be made. Those corrections can be made only if there are 3 like-minded people on a board of 5 people. That's our city council. People who care about what happens to the public and the things that the city is supposed to be doing, and make sure that that is on the roster to occur. That is why it's important that we know who our candidates are and what they care about. For myself, I want the public to understand that researching what can occur so far as efficiency and the truth of the matter is one of my favorite things to do. And I have no problem when it comes to finding the truth, speaking the truth.
Being a member of the city council is not about what I want. It's about giving the citizens of Washington what they want in the most economical and feasible manner. We must work together. We can't all just go up there and throw our right hand up when someone makes a motion or is seconded. Everybody's different. There's different areas of the town that needs different things. And we just need to focus on the constituents in our areas, not just sit up there as 5 people and do what we want to do. We're doing this for the citizens of Washington and not just for ourselves. Whether we're for or against it, if it'll benefit the citizens of Washington, we need to vote in unison, if possible, to make it happen for the citizens of Washington. We're spending your tax dollars, and your tax dollars need to be well spent in the most efficient manner that we can spend them in.
In order for the tax base to support the continued spending of the city, what opportunities for economic development would you propose to bring jobs and business to the city?
Economic development is an interesting issue because I think when people get involved in government, they want to do something. The government should be doing something. But from my perspective, I think the government should do less, and by doing less, we actually attract more business. So by lowering property taxes, we are encouraging people to move to town. If Washington is a town that people want to move to, then business will want to move here as well. So what are the things that the government is doing currently that would make them not want to move here? I think raising property taxes on a largely fixed income crowd is definitely one of those things. I think not maintaining the streets is one of those things. I think leaving certain projects on the roads that DOT manages to DOT instead of us handling them, like left turn signals at congested intersections, or allowing DOT to put concrete medians that prevent businesses from operating. I think those are bad things. The city council can stand in the way of DOT from doing things that hurt local businesses, that hurt local traffic patterns. I don't think we necessarily need to invite businesses into town so much as we need to be an inviting place for businesses to come to town. And I think there's a lot that we can do in regard to making the processes and procedures of opening businesses in town more friendly. We can get some of that red tape out of the way. We can get some of the inspections a little bit more streamlined. So the short answer is making the city government and the city of Washington more appealing for everybody should make them more appealing for all businesses outside as well.
We cannot bring new business if businesses be totally encumbered with red tape in order to qualify. A lot of things need to happen to clear the way for new business. I think one of the main things, though, we have to do is to inquire with our businesses that are here with who would like to expand and who would like to, have a better time doing the things that they would be able to enlarge their business and bring in a better way to hire people and to train people. Our education process needs to be able to deliver the employees that businesses would need. So education is huge. The other piece of it, of course, is that when we reach out to these businesses, we need to be able to provide them with a clear path to success. We can't do that with an overriding red tape. When businesses start to expand or even bring in new business, you're going to have an increase in the number of people who can have a decent job, which is going to get rid of the level of poverty that we're dealing with. I know multiple people who travel all the way to New Bern for a decent job, and they're frustrated with that. I think it would be wonderful if people could stay closer and have less time on the highway trying to do their job and feed their families. We do need to reduce poverty in the area because we know that if we reduce poverty, we're reducing crime. Thriving businesses can bring a broader tax base, and that can give us a balance for reducing property tax.
Bringing new businesses into the city or surrounding areas is a tough question. A lot of the major industry in Washington, although it didn't pay a great deal, paid enough to raise a family, send your family or your children to college, have a house, have a car. Those jobs have left. I personally have worked in Greenville for the last 30 years because I couldn't find a job in Washington that pays what I can make in Greenville. However, recently, Beaufort Community College has been rated one of the top community colleges in the United States. They're training an extremely well-skilled workforce, whether it's welders, machinists, nurses, EMTs, paramedics. These people have very little opportunity to work in Washington at a higher paying wage, which would support our tax base. It's a shame they'll go to both community college for 2 years and then pack up and move to Raleigh, Charlotte, or Wilmington, or even Newbert. We need to take the skills that they learned here in Washington and keep them in the county for jobs that pay more money, which brings in more taxes. Washington's a beautiful, beautiful little town, but there's really nothing to do here for the younger crowd. Told my son, who's 22, I said, my biggest fear is that you'll be working where you're at when you're 45 years old and never seen anything. It's hard to get trapped in a little town without a lot of better paying jobs. So when a better paying job comes along, you pack up and leave.
Well, Stan, I think we did have a good opportunity today. It was great to hear from the different candidates, to hear what they thought about some of the different issues. I think we see a lot of similarity in some of their answers, which leads me to believe that a lot of folks in Washington feel the same way, that there are issues there that can be improved upon, and these folks are bringing fresh ideas, and look forward to seeing what else they have to say here in the future.
I agree. And we hope to have them back maybe in late September. And today they did bring some new ideas to the table. Number one, stop spending so much money. Number two, be transparent.
That's right.
Number three, end the corruption.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of Washington residents would like to see that, especially in a year where they just raised taxes 28% across the board. That's a lot. I've never seen that in governing, ever. I'm surprised they're able to get away with it. Maybe they won't be able to get away with it much longer.
If we don't change what's there, we're going to have what we've always had. And I think people are ready for a change. So it's good to see some refreshing ideas.
There's a reason why it got this high. Maybe there'll be a good reason it ends. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.